Welcome all to the half here on the... Alright, that's not working. Alright, welcome all to the half. I'm your host, Matthew Long. We have been on a break for the last week or so. So I appreciate it's nice being back here. Thank you all for listening in over on YouTube, over on BlogTalkRadio, and on Spreaker. You'll be able to get this show on iTunes as well as SoundCloud, and we're going to try to put it a whole bunch of other places too. So be ready to hear us pretty soon on TuneIn and iHeartRadio. So those are things that are in the works. Go to YouTube, subscribe to the channels. We have at the CHT on Sports channel, and we have the one that gets the most views and where I put the most stuff at is over on my channel at Matt Long Sports. Those are also the handles for the website and myself, and you can get our handle for the show here, which is To The Half. And if you're looking on YouTube, don't worry, right here above the microphone there will be a subscribe button. In the last 20 seconds of the video there will be a link up here that'll take you to the website, and then over here will be the two most popular or most recent uploaded, whichever one or both will pop up over there. So if you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see other shows, suggested shows and stuff too. So if you haven't had a chance to go to YouTube, at Matt Long Sports, at the CHT on Sports, and subscribe to those channels so we can be sure that you keep up to date on those two, share them, everything moving forward. Okay, so there's two topics today on the show today. The first one I wanted to get into, here we are close to the combine. I'm not really going to get into the combine today, although it starts here in less than, I think, was it 18 hours or something like that. It starts. So I'm not going to get into that. But what I want to get into is because a lot of people seem to think that, oh, it's a money grab. It's just a television show. There really is no need for the NFL Combine. The NFL does it for ratings. They do it for money. So I'm gonna address that. If it's just a television show, if it's a money grab, and and is the NFL Combine needed or not? So I'll get into that here in the first segment. We got some sirens. They're not gonna find me in here. Anyways. In the second and final segment of the show, we're going to get into the unification of the WBA and WBC World Welterweight title fight that is this weekend between Keith one-time Thurman and Danny Swift Garcia. So I'll get into that. I'll give you my prediction on the fight and how I see the fight working out and how each of the fighters can get a W in this fight. So I'll get into that in the second segment of the show. So again, thank you all for listening in. For all of you who listen in, the many ways you want, the many ways that you choose to listen into, we try to get out there a bunch of free apps on SoundCloud, on Spreaker, iTunes. You can go on to our website, thechtonsports.com. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll see a link that says Listen. Click on it, and you can listen to all the shows. You can listen to this show, which we have, it's our daily show. The Tuesday show I have is the Cold Hard Truth on Sports radio show. Wednesday, right now it's still CMT Firestorm, but coming up here in the next few weeks, we have a new show hosted by Cali Brewer called Take This L. It's a new show, so I'm looking forward to getting it out there and for people to hear in the new show. Then on Sundays we have the Boxing Source hosted by James Bell. So be sure to go over to the website. You can get all the show times and everything over there, and listen to previous shows as well. So, all right. No, I'm not gonna. I see a few people are listening live. I'm getting some messages in. Yes, this is a little bit different than the Tuesday show. I don't do the live messaging and interaction on this show, although technically I am right now. But I will get at you. I will. So thank you for messaging. I appreciate it. All right, into the first topic. So, a lot of people I'm seeing in chat rooms, some people in sports media, writers, just fans say, the NFL is money hungry and the combine is just a money grab. The drills and stuff that they do at the combine don't really show what the athlete's potential is, and that it really doesn't do a whole lot for scouts and for teams. So that's one part of it. That they say, these are the reasons why. They just want to make the money off the television revenue. And now this year, it's announced that for the first time they're allowing fans to go and visit. So now it's become a spectator event. There's the drills and the bench press. It's not really a competition. It's just bench pressing. 225 pounds as many times as you can. Is that interesting? I guess. It's kind of one of those things is you kind of want to see who can do what, but there's other things I would rather see than bench pressing. If I know how many reps you did, they know. There's an NFL representative, a team representative, someone that's right there counting. Right? So the number's the number. If you did 50 reps, that's crazy. That's crazy good. If you only did 8, now, that's like, oh, really? Only 8? What is he? Oh, he's a quarterback. Whatever. So is it something that you really want to look for? It depends on the position. The combine, yes, it has become a spectator sport. It has become a television show. And it spans over the course of 3 days. This year it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think last year it started on Thursday, went to Sunday, and last year it was just so drawn out. It seemed like the combine was never going to come, and then the draft was even further away, because the draft wasn't till mid-April. So this year everything got pushed up, which is good for them. As the NFL, I like with a lot of things. It's not that the NFL doesn't make mistakes. The NFL in general seems, when they make mistakes, maybe they deal with it bad in the beginning, but a lot of things they're able to learn from and get right moving forward. Not everything. Some things are progress. Some things are more political. So you're looking at different contexts of which they look at certain things. Again, they get legal advice. Is this something you should bend on? Public pressure. Pressure from the NFLPA, from retired alumni, so on and so forth. So not every single thing that you see or hear in the NFL will always get treated exactly the same way up front. It should, but it doesn't. So those are things that they got to work on. Now, so far, let me start off by, and then. Well, like I said, it is a television show. It is a spectator event now. That is. Are they trying to get money out of it? Of course. If you can capitalize on something, if you can find a way to benefit from it financially, then it is in their best interest as a business to do so. So if they can give a different experience to people that they've never had before. I've covered NFL since, my goodness, 2012. So, what's that? 5 years? 5 years I've covered it. I've covered sports, particularly the NFL. At least 5 years. On a show before that. So let's just say 5. We'll round it out to 5. So I cut myself short a little. But anyways, so about 5 years. I have still never been to a combine. I will, and when I go, I'm going to make sure I get you guys access, and I'm going to tell you things that I've seen, and I'm going to explain different processes. But I do interact with a lot of people that do go to the combine, between media and scouts, agents, players, team representatives. So I do try to stay in the know, and I try to make sure that I'm asking the right questions. So, and I have asked. This is not an old question or an old concept to think that the NFL is trying to reach and they have a money grab here for the combine. But yes, I will say that for the most part, the drills and the stuff that they do at the combine isn't really showing their football potential. I think that's a fairly accurate statement. You don't learn a ton from a guy by his 40 time. But what I can tell you is that 40 time gets guys paid. Like, for example, Adidas has a huge contract deal out there, winning a prize, I guess if you want to call it, for the person if they could break the 40 time record. And in years past, the top 5 or so fastest guys in 40 time got a contract with Nike, so you got an apparels contract before you've even stepped a foot on a football field. Truly stepped a foot on a football field for anything, any camps or rookie events. So before you're in the NFL, you've actually already got a contract. So that's good. So that's putting money into their pockets. This is also a time where guys are able to get in front of all 32 teams at one time. And every time you are doing a particular testing or a particular event or a skill, a drill, when you're up, you're up. Everybody's eyes are on you. So their scouts are undivided for you, and yes, you're on the stage. So you've got their undivided attention. Also, it gives them a chance right after that, because the scouts are taking the same notes on the same people. It's pretty much the same stuff. But the scouts also compare and contrast notes between different teams too. The teams compare and contrast notes on what they're seeing on people. They get feedback, because again, nobody knows who's going to draft who. So, some of it's a chess match. Who you want to talk to, who you want to divulge stuff to, but I've never really heard of much misinformation, because there's just so many scouts and talent evaluators there from these teams and independently that if somebody went too far off reservation with some sort of message that they were putting out there, it just wouldn't resonate well. It wouldn't get much traction, and you could really, they would make a hind end of themselves. So, for the most part, again, now there's times where there are people scouts that have made assessments that may be much different than what most people are seeing, and some of that could just be that they're seeing something different. Again, maybe it's something other people aren't pick up on. Some people have a unique ability for talent evaluating, for scouting. So they may be seeing something different. So, but it's not going to be something, you're not going to really see people feed a lot of misinformation. They'll give their opinion on it, but for the most part, you got kind of sharing of the same notes. So that's good that they have that there, because that community allows the league to hone in on the guys that they already know what they are, and there's kind of a consensus is he's what we thought we were, then those guys are like, okay, so here's for the first time I actually got to see him in this light. I think the scouting combine works best for offensive and defensive linemen. As far as the drills and stuff like that, to see can your outside linebacker defensive ends, can they be the outside linebacker that's in coverage? Would they be able to move somewhere on the into a different role as linebacker? Can you use them in, as a 3 and a 5 and a 7 and as an outside linebacker? What's their cover skills? Because a lot of these situations, with those, particularly offensive and defensive linemen, outside linebackers, you're not necessarily able to see all these situations in game conditions. Sometimes simply because of the team's scheme or the offense that they run. Like, you could see Odell Beckham, for example. Odell Beckham had good hands, and he had good speed and in-game speed, and he ran pretty good routes. So you could see that, and as a scout that, hey, this is something, those are the bases of what we're looking for, but now we can really put him in trial under fire and see how his hands are. How's his cutting? Again, the pro days are important, because they're more controlled, If some guy goes and balls out at a combine, you're not going to see his A game usually at his pro day. It's going to be something, hey, I can catch, I can still run, I'm going to run the 40 again, So, a lot of times guys run the 40 again at their pro day, because usually the pro day, the hand timer, it's a little bit faster. So, just to let you know that what he did at the combine, that was quick, but I'm quicker than that, so here's this. Or some guys may have been struggling with some sort of lingering injury that they weren't completely healthy from, but they didn't want to not do it. So I know of a couple. There's guys through these trainings that will have issues with hamstrings or calf muscles, quads and stuff locking up on them from practicing their 40s. So you run into some of those things too. And not a lot of the injuries and a lot of the information like that doesn't necessarily get disclosed at the combine on the broadcast. Scouts and stuff like that know it pretty quickly. Teams know it pretty quickly. They don't want to get stuff like that out really until sometime after the draft or once they get into mini camps, because there's several reasons. It's not beneficial, for the most part, for teams to do things that will intentionally make their prospects worse. Because you might end up with them, and they might be somebody you're going to have to trade away to get something else you want. Plus, you want to see what their potential is if you end up drafting them. And if they go undrafted, now it's something you have and Maybe he's had some off-the-field issues. LeGarrette Blount may be one of those people. Off-the-field issues or issues where he was suspended or kicked off the team, goes undrafted, but what do we really have here as far as talent goes? So, stuff like that. So, yes, it is, the combine drills and stuff are necessary. I think it benefits certain positions more than others. So I'll put it that way. Also, it's one of the best times of the year for agents and teams to meet. They meet and they hash out different guys that signing extensions, reworking contracts, signing free agents. They're looking at too. And there's also, on the other hand, guys that didn't make the combine that could very well be undrafted free agents. Is a time to, I got my guy, I want to put him more in front of you, remind you, hey, he's not here at the combine, but hey, we're going to do this workout here. So they can schedule those workouts and pro days and stuff like that. So this way so teams know where they can have people and coordinate those things. Are these things that could be done over the phone? Yes, but having all 32 teams, just about everybody's agent, almost all the scouts there during one weekend is highly important, and it's highly beneficial. Just the logistics behind that happening is so beneficial to the teams and to players alike and agents that it definitely is worth having it. And it's just tip of the hat to the NFL for finding a way to make what they do, whether it's picking players, running drills, meetings, whatever it is, press conferences, finding a way to make things entertaining. Because at the end of the day, in an entertainment industry, you've got to find a way to maximize everything. Do you think backstage was something that always happened? Do you think it was always available to come backstage? No. Someone was smart enough at one point in time to say, hey, we should have a backstage pass and just charge out the yen for it, right? And then you can go backstage. That would be different. That would be cool. At one point in time, they didn't have a VIP section, section that's closer to the stage. It's easier to see, better experience, so to speak. That didn't always exist, so somebody said, hey, let's do this. And that made the concert experience more enjoyable for them. Wow, maybe this position in the balcony is the best. It's kind of like certain balcony positions is kind of like sitting in a skybox at a sporting event. So someone said, hey, we need to have more room for people to watch, and these are premier locations. We'll put them there. We'll charge more money for it. So when any business, especially if you're in entertainment, find a way to capitalize on it, then you got to look into it. So the NFL's done a good job at that. All right, moving on to the next segment. And again, all versions of this show, you should be able to see here, all versions of this show over on the website, thechtonsports.com. Click on the listen link to listen to all the shows that we have on the GoLong Media Channel on BlogTalkRadio. You'll be able to see all the To the Half shows on YouTube. So at the CHT on Sports or at Matt Long Sports on YouTube. So search those, and you'll notice if you're watching on YouTube, right here above the microphone, there will be, in the last 20 seconds, there will be a link. You can click to subscribe, or just go down below above the comment section and click on the subscribe button there. Also, up here, you will, just above the subscribe button, you'll see another logo. It'll be a picture of me or a picture of the CHT on Sports. Click on that link, it'll take you directly to the website. Then over to the side here, we have more recent and more popular episodes that we've aired. You can click and watch those as well. I encourage you to watch all of them, like them, share them, subscribe on YouTube. So we're moving along today. We got about over 5 minutes left in the show, so I wanted to make a point to remind you guys of that. All right, this Saturday on CBS. So this is a cable broadcast. Premier Championship Boxing is going to be airing an event that I think would be a massive, as far as for boxing. It would have been a great pay-per-view event, but it is going to be on cable. So if you are a boxing fan, were a boxing fan, like to fight sports, or just kind of like, hey, I'll give boxing a chance again, this is a fight you're going to want to see. Right now in boxing, probably the most competitive weight class is welterweight. Right now, the guys that are around that 147 pounds. It seems to be kind of the same way in UFC, where welterweight and middleweight are kind of where the competition's at. The same way as in boxing. And Saturday, there will be a title unification bout with the WBA and WBC champions. Keith one-time Thurman, who's actually right here out of St. Pete, and Danny Swift Garcia will be facing off for title unification. Now let me start with this. I have Thurman winning this fight, and I'd have him winning the fight by knockout in the 7th or 8th round. That's what I'd see. If it goes to decision, it will be much tougher for him to win. But he could end up winning by a decision over there. I see him winning more by knockout than by decision, but the decision could happen. Danny Garcia doesn't have the same punching power, and he doesn't have the same size to win a fight against Keith Thurman, who's a true welterweight, in that fashion. So if he wins, he would probably win on the scorecard after 12 rounds. Now, Thurman, again, I want to tell you, he's the bigger fighter. He's a true welterweight. This is his weight class. He has the body, the punching power, the speed, the build to where he could go up to middleweight. All the way up to middleweight would be kind of where he would have same effectiveness. He could do that. He could have that range. Danny Garcia, I think welterweight is his peak. That's as high as he's going to get with his frame and his build and his punching power. I don't think he's going to go any further than this. So this is about where he can go. So just again, bigger, stronger, more punching power in Thurman. A guy that's at the peak size. Probably he has some deceptive speed. He has some speed and really good technical boxing ability in Danny Garcia. Now Garcia isn't known to he won't. I don't think he's going to come in here and he's not going to fight any one certain way, because I think he's an awesome technical boxer. You know, he can cut off the ring. He has good footwork, good defense. He's good at punching in combinations, and he can move forward or counterpunch. So he's a really talented fighter. Keith Thurman, on the other hand, is too. He can switch it up. We've seen him fight orthodox and southpaw. We've seen him come in on different angles, and be able to cut off the ring, be able to press it, be able to go with high punches, be able to sit back and counterpunch. So as a complete package, you get more with Thurman than you do with Danny Garcia. But Danny Garcia, again, this is going to be his first real test at welterweight. He did well against Ghost Guerrero a few months back, but this will be Keith Thurman will be his first real test at this weight class. So I have my prediction is Keith Thurman wins and will be the unified welterweight champion of the world after Saturday night. Now, those of you that are betting right now, that I see the odds are at Thurman at minus 210 and Garcia's at plus 190, basically 2-to-1 odds is pretty much what we're looking at right there. If you place a straight up bet on Garcia winning, I would not discourage you from that, and you could make some money doing that. So this is going to be a really close, well contested fight. I highly suggest that everybody watch this fight. Tune in on CBS 8 o'clock on CBS this Saturday. Alright, you already would have gotten all your stuff out of the way with the NFL Combine and to nauseam. Alright, so by 8 o'clock, be in Tune into this on CBS and watch this fight. Again, thank you all for tuning in. Click here over the mic or down below, or go to YouTube, subscribe. Click on the website up here, just above the microphone, and over to this side over here. You can watch some of these shows too. So take in all that we have. We'll have a bunch of new content and stuff over on the website, thechtonsports.com. I'll have some new content tomorrow, NFL Combine related, absolutely, obviously, because it starts tomorrow. And there's a couple other things I'm looking at getting into as well tomorrow. So tune in to tomorrow's show too. I appreciate you all. Thank you for tuning in to The Half with Matthew Long. I'm out.